All right, y'all. So yesterday we saw and we talked about one of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my life, and more specifically, one of the best fourth quarters I've ever seen in my life. And I'm still, riding that high from that game. But today, we're going to talk about the best realistic outcome for the 2024-2025 season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, OKC is a team that got significantly better in the offseason, which is both impressive if you're an OKC fan or if you're just a fan of basketball, but it's also terrifying for the rest of the league because they were already the one seed in a stacked Western Conference and last year, and because they're a very young roster with players that will likely continue to improve and get better as we go into this season and probably seasons to come, just because the team is that young. So, OKC, they added Alex Caruso from the Bulls and Isaiah Hartenstein this year. Isaiah Hartenstein they got for literally just nothing. They didn't have to trade anything. He was a free agent signing. They did not have to do anything special to get him. They just had to give him some money. Alex Caruso, also, considering the player that Alex Caruso is and considering what he brings to the table, they didn't have to give up anything special for him. They gave up Josh Giddey, who was a guy that became unplayable in the playoffs last year, and a second-round pick. So they had 17 first-round picks, and they didn't have to give up one of them to get a guy as good as Alex Caruso. Okay. The Bulls are terrible. Anyways, sorry, Trevon. My homie Trevon's a Bulls fan. Sorry, Kenny Beecham. Sorry, but that's tough. I'm not sure exactly what the starting lineup's going to be with these new additions, but I am very interested to see some of these lineups, some of the things that we're going to see Mark Dayton, the head coach, what we're going to see him try out there this season. I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to be watching a lot of OKC games. I'm assuming the NBA is going to give them more national TV games than they did last year. I would hope, at least. But I would be very interested to see this lineup, which is probably the lineup that I would start the season off with, but I'm also not an NBA head coach. What do I know? I just, you know what I'm saying? I just know a little bit of basketball and play some 2K. You know what I'm saying? But the lineup that I'm thinking would be an amazing lineup. This would be the lineup that I would probably start the season out with, depending on, you know what I'm saying, what this looks like in practice. I'm assuming they've practiced with this lineup before. Shea, Lou Dort, J-Dub, Chet, and iHeart. So Shea at the 1, Dort at the 2. Now, I know he's usually a 3 guy, but he can definitely play the 2, I think, in my opinion. And if not, you can always get in Isaiah Joe or Caruso. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have options at that 2 guard now. So Shea at the 1, Dort at the 2, J-Dub at the 3, Chet at the 4, and this would help Chet because not only does he have the length and he can stretch the floor, whereas Isaiah Hartenstein cannot stretch the floor, and Isaiah Hartenstein's also a much bigger body than Chet that could help him play the 5, and I think he will probably be even a better rebounder than Chet. So I would love to see this lineup with Chet at the 4, iHeart at the 5. But the lineup that I also would be surprised if they put this out there, it would be Shea at the 1, either Caruso or Isaiah Joe at the 2, Lou Dort at the 3, J-Dub at the 4, Chet at the 5. Now, this is a little bit of a smaller type small ball lineup, but when you have a 7-footer on the back end, you're going to have a 7-footer on the back end either way. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing for no matter what the lineup is, and I trust Mark Dayton to pick the right lineup. OKC was a team that, if you don't remember, let me enlighten you. They made the second round last year, lost to Dallas, which was in large part because they literally got no offense from anyone outside of Shea. Josh Giddey became unplayable because of his lack of spacing and the fact that he doesn't give you really anything on the defensive end. J-Dub wasn't really as efficient. Shea wasn't even as efficient because a lot of their points they're used to getting in the mid-range, and Dallas kind of shut that down a little bit. PJ Washington went off in that series versus them, so it was just like a lot of things went wrong for OKC in that series, and I want to say they lost in 6, I'm pretty sure. But to me, coming off that last season, things this year should be better because, like I said, their young guys will hopefully continue to develop into more versatile offensive players. You're hopefully going to be able to get more points from the 3. Hopefully, Shea's pull-up 3 is going to be better. Hopefully, Shea's catch and shoot 3 is going to be better. Hopefully, Alex Caruso will help you with some of that 3-point shooting. Hopefully, J-Dub's 3 will be better. We know Chet can shoot the ball. Hopefully, Isaiah Joe continues to be one of the best shooters in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things to be happy about if you're a Thunder fan. There's a lot of things to look forward to. There's a lot of things to have optimism about if you're a Thunder fan because you think these players are going to get better. And again, progression is not linear. We all know that. But you expect these players to at least get a little bit better. We don't expect anyone to have a huge regression. Hey, can we see J-Dub maybe get some All-Star votes? Can we see him get some All-Star nods? Even if he doesn't make it, can we see that happen? Can we see Shea win an MVP this year? Can we see Chet again be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year? Can we see Chet go out there and be a guy that can really be your second or third best player every single night like he was last year, but even increasing his production, increasing what he does for you? Now, again, like I've said just 30 seconds ago, progression is not linear, so we don't know. But on paper, this team is better. Caruso, better shooter, better defender than Josh Giddey, more athletic player. Josh Giddey's a better playmaker. He's a better ball handler and all that stuff, and that's cool. But I would rather have what Alex Caruso does than what Josh Giddey does. That's just if you ask me. And I think most NBA players will say the same thing. I personally I'm always someone that has concerns when a team is this young and when their offense is in this, especially in today's NBA, when the offense is so predicated around the mid-range. Now, we obviously still have some guys in this league that are absolutely killing the game with mid-range. Shea, KD, Book, we have DeRozan, we have guys that kill the league with the mid-range, but that is also something that has not proven to be a winning formula in this, you know what I'm saying, in this version of the NBA. You've got to be able to have that three-point shooting. You've got to be able to stop the three-point shooting. I have no questions about this team's defense. This team's defense should be disgusting. The rebounding should even be improved because last year, a big part of their problem was that they didn't have a phenomenal rebound. They didn't have phenomenal rebounding numbers, which was why a lot of people wanted them to go out and get Andre Drummond at the deadline last year. They didn't have phenomenal size because while they had the 7-footedness of of Chet, he's not a big body. Now you have Isaiah Hartenstein. He's going to shore up that rebounding, you hope, and he's also going to be – he's a guy that can also make some plays. Like if he's pocket passing or whatever, if you've got the ball in his hands, putting him in some action, he can make some plays for you. He can pass the ball pretty well. He can do some things for you. He's used to playing with a ball-dominant point guard like he played with Jalen Brunson. He's used to these things. Isaiah Hartenstein is a guy that shores up what their two biggest problems were for me. Well – Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso together shore up with their biggest problems for me, which was a lack of shooting, a lack of interior size, a lack of like some type of perimeter defense where you have like multiple guys now that can literally guard pretty much anyone from the 1 to 3, maybe even to the 4 sometimes. Like you have guys that can really guard all these positions, and with Isaiah Hartenstein on the back end, you can also have Chet guarding these 4 guys that are, you know what I'm saying? You can also have Isaiah Joe coming off the bench, and you're not expecting as much of the shooting to come from him because you have other guys around him that can shoot. You're expecting other guys to get better, like Shea with his shooting, like J-Dub with his shooting. But when a team is this young, when the offense is so predicated around the mid-range in today's game, there's always concerns. This is a young team, which is a great thing, but that also could be a bad thing because you could be saying they're not just ready quite yet. But the fact that they're also young means that they don't have to be ready quite yet. They can take a year or two to get ready. They can take a year or two to, learn some lessons in the playoffs again. The West is tough. The West isn't going to get any easier anytime soon, but at some point, LeBron's going to retire. Lakers are going to get worse. At some point, Jokic is going to hit that, Jokic is almost 30. At some point, he's going to hit that 30, that age 30, and we're going to see what his regression does. At some point, Steph Curry's going to retire. At some point, Kevin Durant's going to retire. This is a team that doesn't have a ton of pressure to be ready right now, but this is a team that I think will be significantly better this year, and I would not be surprised at all if they are ready right now. Like I said, offense should be able to generate more threes. Defense should be even better. Pair that with the progression that we expect to see from guys like Shea, J-Dub, Chet, and you've got a team that literally could be poised for a deep playoff run, which to me is why the best realistic case scenario for the OKC Thunder this year is taking home the Larry O'Brien Trophy, picking up the championship. It's going to be hard to do this, especially if they have to face a team like Boston in the West, especially if they have to go against a team like Minnesota in the conference finals, or they have to go against a team like Dallas or Denver. They could literally play top 4 teams in their conference in the first round, second round, and top 3 teams in their conference and top 4 teams in the league, first round, second round, third round, and then finals. If that's how the league shakes out, they could literally end up playing Denver, then they go straight to Dallas, then they go straight to Minnesota, then they go straight to Boston. It's really going to be tough for a team out west this year to win a championship just because the road to get there is going to take so much out of you that are you going to have enough to compete with the team, assuming it's Boston? Are you going to have enough to compete with a team like Boston, with a team like New York, with a team like... Really, it's those two because I don't trust the Bucks. I trust Giannis, but I don't trust the Bucks, and I don't trust the 76ers because I don't trust PG. I don't trust Embiid. So, yeah, but, it's going to be tough in the West. It's going to be difficult. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not picking them as my favorite to win the championship. But if you did, I wouldn't be mad at you. I disagree with you, but I wouldn't be mad at you at all because it's going to be super tough for any team in the West with the run that they're going to have to get, with the run that they could possibly have to make the finals and then eventually win it. It's going to be tough. But if this team looks as good as it looks on paper, if it looks as good on court as it looks on paper, then having Shea as the MVP, having Mark Dayton to be Coach of the Year, having the Thunder as the pick to win the finals would be very, very, very realistic. The West is tough again this year. The West got better, but the Thunder were able to improve right alongside their competition. Sure, I'd be worried about this team versus guys like Luka, like Jokic, like Ant in Minnesota. But everybody's going to be worried about those guys, and those guys are also going to be worried about coming into OKC and facing off against Shea. Remember, they were the 1 seed last year. They got better. They could very well do that again this year, and that would mean the West would have to run through Oklahoma City. it's not at all a stretch to say that OKC could realistically be the 24-25 champs when the season is finished, and that is why I'm saying their realistic best case scenario is a ring. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Tomorrow, gold medal game. Y'all will be getting a video from me no matter what the result is, but I expect us to win. So gold medal game tomorrow, and then Sunday you might get a video, you might not. Let me know what y'all would think, because what I'm thinking is Sunday. Y'all know I usually take Sundays off anyway, but like this week I know I'm gonna be busy on Thursday. So would you rather get a video Sunday and not get one Thursday, or would you rather not get one Sunday and then I pre-record one and post that on Thursday, whatever that would be? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what y'all would prefer, what y'all are thinking about this. But yeah, boy, it's gonna be a good NBA season coming up, and tomorrow it's gonna be a good game, USA versus France. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching.